Hello and welcome to Mountaintop Media. I am Leslie and I will be taking you through Tuesday, September 2nd's City of Reading meeting. All right, so as we jumped into the meeting, the very first thing out the gate that was announced in closed session, Barry Tippin's new retirement date is October 3rd. We were under the impression he would be retiring in December. Aaron Resner clarified and commented that they have known since 2023 that it was his intention to retire at the end of this year. So the date has not been a mystery to us, but the fact that it is all of a sudden now October 3rd is a shocker. So Mr. Bade, who is the assistant city manager, is the temporary appointment while they do the recruitment and search for that position. So if you have feelings on that, you have comments, you have input, suggestion for recruitment and who they appoint as the new city manager, make sure you get in contact with your city council members. I don't know if you can see my notes. This is how these meetings go. So I will do my best to remain focused and not stare down at them too much. But when we got into public comments, there was, as usual, it is entertaining and fun. But a lot happened in discussion and around public comment that I felt like needed addressed. So when I got up there for public comment, I really only focused on one thing and did not really get into the meat and potatoes of everything that I wanted to talk to them about. So the new retirement date kind of created a sense of urgency. We need to get some answers. Things are up in the air in our city, and we really need some answers and some clarification. A lot of finger pointing and name calling and just kind of disrespect toward City Council Member Audette was thrown, and comments that she wasn't there. It was 3-4 o'clock in the morning where she was out of the country even, and she was there on the phone. So it's not that she was just evading her responsibility altogether. She was there. But she is also human and allowed to have a life and go on trips with family and have life events that come up that take her out of the area. So but she was there. She didn't shirk her responsibility. So I appreciate that. But the thing is, there were a lot of speakers that spoke about the Shasta Motorsports and the track out by the airport. So that is kind of an ever-evolving story. And I'm going to have more for you on that. We are going to be going out. There's a meeting today. We're going to be going out to that. And hopefully getting some more clarification on what's going on. But the sounds of it, based on public comment and how things were kind of tumultuous in the room regarding it, it looked a lot like what happened with the dissolution of Big League Dreams and Reading Sports Park, and which was insane because when you look at the offset that happened later in this meeting with the item for Advanced Reading taking over the Civic Center, it's so different in how things are being handled and pushed through. The people who are handling the Civic Center got a grant from the city, money that was set aside and just given to them that covers more than 10 times the annual rent of the Civic Center. So the grant covers their expenses to operate. We're not doing that for Reading Sports Park. We're not doing that for the drag strip and the motocross and all of that. And on top of that, I understand that they put a lot into it and they're doing a lot for the infrastructure and the upkeep and they're doing, but they also they make money on every single ticket for every event that they did. And they talked about the cost of the staging and the cost of this and that they're bringing in things and they're doing more for the community. I am all for doing more for the community. I'm all for anything that brings our community together. I've been to concerts out there. They're doing a great job. I'm not anti this. But if we're going to just generously give to one, why are we setting others up for failure? Does that make sense? So that's where my mind went with that. And then that rolls over into the 1 cent sales tax increase. That is for the people to decide, what do we do? Well, has the city of Reading proven that they will manage that fund correctly? Have they proven that they know how to appropriately put the funds in there's an oversight committee that's coming up with this, and will they follow that? Because as of right now, they don't even clearly understand the structure of government as it sits. They've for years had the city manager puppeteering the council, not answering to the council. And so I just feel like there's a lot of structural stuff that needs to be addressed in the city of Reading. And there's a lot of hard work that needs to be done by each councilman to take responsibility for the part that they had done. Take responsibility for maybe where they didn't do enough. And let's move forward for what's best for our city, right? And that's really what got me to be more on Councilwoman Audette's team than ever before. Because there was a period in time where had you told me I was going to take her word as gospel on anything, I probably would have laughed at you. But in taking the time to get to know her, I'm just seeing that she is a just genuine and honest person, and I'm happy to call her friends. But outside of that, her as a leader and as a politician, I've seen her fall on her sword and say, I did not ask enough questions. I let you down, and that is my job and my responsibility, and I let you down. So moving forward, I'm going to ask these questions. So I respect where she's coming from with the information that she's put out. Had a long conversation with Dr. Januka, who agreed that those responsible need to be held accountable, whether it's staff, whether it's the council, whether and so we will see when that plays out. But basically what came of all of those discussions is our finance team is going to be doing a response to all the findings that Councilwoman Audette has put out. And it was interesting to me the amount of people who got up there and said, there's no proof, there's no evidence, she's making claims. There's a 150-page document. That is all documents provided by the city, open to the public. Anybody can get this information. And the previous finance director who came to her saying, you're wrong about this. Let's discuss this because you're wrong. Then looked at the information and now has signed off on her findings and says, I absolutely support the questions that you're asking. And that's what she's doing. She's asking questions. When you have nothing to gain, what does she gain by bringing forward the information and asking for transparency? She is one of three who would be up for election in 2026. Is she rerunning? I don't know. We haven't had that conversation. But Mayor Jack Munz up for reelection. Based on his performance alone at the last few meetings of, I don't want to get into that discussion. I don't want to expand on this. I don't want to do any extra. I would say first and most important priority would be to find a quality candidate to run against him and replace him. Priority one. Second is Erin Resner is up for reelection because she ran for the short term. Did she run for the short term so that she can run against Kevin in this county race at the same time? I don't know. That has not been announced. She hasn't given what she wants to do with that, what her ambitions are. That's where I see it headed. I would love to be wrong on that. But either way, she would be running for that, or she would be rerunning for city council, or maybe she walks away from politics. But in my experience with her in politics, I see that she is more ambitious, and I see her rerunning. So she's up. So how she decides and how she votes and what she does moving forward, I think is important. Also, she's been on this council the longest. She has been there for more of these budget cycles and more of these catastrophic failures than anybody else on that council. And so when it comes to taking ownership and comes to apologizing for not looking deep enough and not asking the questions, I understand, like I said, there is that entire scope of function that has failed where they've been puppeteered by staff. I understand saying, I didn't know. But you need to say, I didn't know, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to do better moving forward. That is what Tanessa has done. She said, I believed what was being given to me. I didn't ask enough questions, and I didn't clarify, and that's on me. I appreciate that. I respect that. And so the fact that Greg Robinette, who's our finance director, is coming back with this response to me is interesting. And what it was going to be was a response and a press release that just goes straight out. Here's the findings. Here's where she's wrong. Here's this. And Tanessa really pushed for it to be a discussion item and to have it be something where the community gets to have input. So that will not be on the immediate agenda because they said that they would put out his findings to the public and then have it scheduled for presentation that next, week or 2 weeks to give people time to digest it and really understand the information. And so when that gets put out, we will be sending out reminders to people to look at the information, do your own research. That's a huge part of everything we do here at Mountaintop. I will provide you with what my experience was being at the meeting. I will provide you with the information that I have available and the research that I've done, but we encourage you to do your own research. And so dive into that and then come and give your opinion, be part of the discussion. And let's see what we can do to remedy our city moving forward. I've said it before, we do actually have a fairly low tax rate when contrasted against, Sacramento, the Bay Area, other areas that you go to. And so I'm not adamantly opposed to a 1 cent sales increase. I think it would be survivable. I think we would be fine. However, do I know that that money is going to be budgeted correctly? Do I know that it will be used well? Do I trust that our current city, in the way that it's running, will do a good job with our funds? I really wish that this election would get pushed off to the November election of next year, and that this 1 cent sales tax goes on then so that we have more time to really correct the ship and come up with a way that the community can trust it. So there's a lot happening at the city of Redding. There's a lot coming down. And there's a lot of big changes happening. So I would just really encourage everybody stay informed. Same way I always encourage you with the county, go to the City of Redding website, make sure you sign up to be given the information as it comes available. Make sure you stay on top of it, follow people on social media, show up to the meetings, really stay engaged. But do your own research, Redding. It's time that our city, we have a beautiful city, and so many rich resources. And there is no reason that our city should be looking like a third world country in so many areas. There's no reason why our city should be crumbling at the infrastructure while other areas are lavish and flourishing. So we need to look at what the special interests are. We need to look at where things are being designated and how they're being improved. When we hear that, roadways that have been an issue for so long are put on the back burner while special interest projects get pushed forward, that's the type of stuff that we really need Reading paying attention and asking questions. So start showing up, guys. It's time. I mean, our county has come so far, and I think it's time that we start doing the same for our city. I appreciate you taking the time and spending this time with me. Let me know if there's anything that I can do to further give you the information and the tools that you need to get involved. If you are interested in running for city council in 2026, let me know. I will be happy to help put you in touch with the people that you need to get started, and to make sure that you're successful. I appreciate you, Shasta County. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our amazing sponsors who do so much to help us keep the lights on. Taylor Motors, Taylor Collision Center, Jefferson State Diesel, Royal Monroe Dogs, and it's amazing the amount of people that we have in our community that just support what we do. And so if you like what we do, you support what we do, you can always go to mountaintopmedia.com and you can give there. You can set up a reoccurring gift. You can do a one-time gift. And if you have a business that you would like to promote and sponsor, we would sure appreciate it. Thank you so much and have a great day.